Good morning, everybody. I'm State Representative Lee Snodgrass, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I am a proud, bi-identified woman serving the 57th Assembly District, which is Appleton and Menasha. I want to thank Governor Evers today for recognizing the significance of Pride Month by raising the flag over our beautiful Capitol as a symbol of support to Wisconsin's LGBTQ+ community. I'd also like to thank the governor for including equality provisions in his budget this year. Gender-neutral marriage language, domestic partner benefits, and gender identity non-discrimination language. Having an ally in the governor's office is no small thing, and today's proclamation, flag raising, and equality budget inclusions illustrate just why. I am honored to serve as the chair of the small but mighty LGBTQ caucus in the Wisconsin State Legislature. I don't know where they are. I'd love to introduce there we are, my caucus members here. And on behalf of the Wisconsin LGBTQ caucus, I wish you a very happy Pride. As you all know, Pride Month celebrates a turning point in the movement for LGBTQ rights when in 1969, the LGBTQ community stood up against police violence after a violent raid on the Stonewall Inn in New York City. Led by a young, brave black trans woman, Marsha Pay No Mind Johnson, the uprising against violence born out of Stonewall riots led a movement built on that spirit of resistance, which we honor today. Gay Pride, as the first march in 1970 was themed, was adopted as an intentional counterpoint to the prevailing attitude of shame. And like the indomitable spirit of those in the movement, Pride persists today. Last year marked the 50th year of celebration, and while June is first and foremost an opportunity to celebrate ourselves, our full selves rather, with pride and joyous celebration, we acknowledge the work that we have to do as a queer community to be more intersectional and broadly mindful of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our community. As many of us witnessed last week at the hearings to exclude transgender girls from participation in youth sports, we know that we still have work to do on LGBTQ equality right here in the state of Wisconsin. I'm happy to tell you that the LGBTQ caucus has been hard at work on a package of bills that you will hear about later, promoting Equality Day of Action on June 16th. But today we stand together to honor, celebrate, and fortify ourselves for that work ahead. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Ash.
Good morning. My name is Ash. I'm 12 years old. I'm finishing 7th grade. I'm a person of color. I'm non-binary, meaning I don't identify as either a boy or a girl, which means I use they, them pronouns. So yeah, I realized I was a non-binary person because I didn't feel like a girl or a boy. I didn't fit in with either of them, and I wondered why I even considered to be part of them. So I just looked for myself, and I found that in myself last year. And thank you. I've always been curious and interested in politics and stuff like that, and then I heard about this one bill specifically about anti-trans people. And it was in Wisconsin, it would stop trans women from competing in sports because they were physically advanced in some sort of way. And I felt like that was just kind of stupid because why? They just want to play with their friends. What if someone they were grouping people with different kind of races together, and then they put you in with this certain race because you look like that. No. And so, yeah. I didn't exactly plan on testifying there, but I did, and I did again. And yeah. Thank you. And that day I heard a lot of people with they didn't understand what it meant to be trans, and they kind of like spoke pretty rudely, in fact. And this one girl specifically, she was upset and went with the bill because she lost a mountain bike race to a trans woman. And I'm just like, why? And it was about schools. She's already done with college and stuff, so I don't understand. Basically, yeah. Hold on. Yeah. This made me think it was an opportunity to be heard, because I mean, I was like really scared. Like, I have anxiety and depression and that. So yeah, I was like pretty scared to do this at all. Like, I didn't want to do this. I testified basically, and I told them to not go with like the bills at all, because it would affect people around me. It would affect a lot of other people, and it wouldn't affect them positively, in my opinion, because I know what people want, and I experience things. And that brings me here today. Just me, a speck in the world existing here. And, well, I'm here. I'm still on a journey to be my most authentic self, express myself better. And, like, I know there might be some people like, oh, why are you wearing that? Oh, you're, like misgendering me or something. And basically, yeah. I think that raising, like, the pride flag, like, it would be like it's great. It's a step towards accepting people. And, you know, it's one step, but, you know, the more steps we have, the more closer we are to being more accepting of each other and not tearing each other apart over silly things.
All right.
I feel like anti-trans things and stuff like that, like, it shouldn't be here anymore. I feel like it's just kind of like old. Like, that was something that would go on like 100 years ago or something. And basically, yeah. Instead of like putting these 100-year-old bills and trying to apply them to push away trans people and people of color and people of all different races and gender identities and sexualities, like, to pull them together. They're not enemies, they're friends. And we need to protect that relationship and bond in people, as well as like people that are having like issues, because, you know, I have issues, we all have issues. Some of them are small, some obstacles aren't exactly created equally. A lot of them aren't created equally, but we all have them. And I feel like helping people that need help to get rid of those obstacles, go past them. I feel like that would be like, we could make laws to like help people with certain obstacles, help them get through it better. Yeah, and I feel really grateful. Like, I'm here. I'm just a speck in the universe, and I'm here. It happened. It all laid out. I don't know how, but I'm here, and I'm really grateful about this. And I feel like if we can continue this path and try to work towards it, maybe we can have a better future for everyone, the kids, everyone else in the world.
Wow. Ash, that's a hard act to follow, but thank you. And it makes me think of a phrase that I repeat often about, you know, it kept saying, I'm just a speck in the universe. But so Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So thank you. Now, I often say that I did not run for the United States Senate to make history. I ran to make a difference. And I'm reminded of that today. 2 years ago, in June of 2019, Governor Evers made history in his first year in office by issuing an executive order to raise the pride flag above the state capitol. Even the Harleys agree. So I remember that day very well because people shared the picture of that flag flying high above our Capitol by texts and by social media. So many people were taking great pride in knowing that we had a governor who was celebrating our state's diversity and sending a message that Wisconsin was a place that was welcoming and respectful of the LGBTQ community. Governor Evers' leadership was not only making history, he was making a difference. And I ask all of you in joining me to say thank you. You know, that was a moving event, and I'm taking a tangent off my remarks to say that earlier this year we had a chance to unveil a painting. So many people were moved that somebody did a lovely, I think, watercolor painting based on that flag. And we had a number of speakers at that virtual event. And one of them just talked from her heart about what it felt to drive up towards the Capitol, not knowing that it had been displayed, and seeing it and feeling seen and heard by her state and by her state government. Anyways, today we join together because we all share a commitment to the idea that with each passing day, with each passing year, Wisconsin should become more equal, not less. As we raise the pride flag again today in recognition of Pride Month, let us remember it's a symbol of fairness, about whether LGBTQ Wisconsinites deserve to be treated just like their family members, their friends, and their neighbors. It's about opportunity, about working together to break down barriers so that everyone in Wisconsin has an equal opportunity to dream the same dreams, to chase the same ambitions, and to have the same shot at success. And it's about the ongoing march for freedom, the freedom of full equality for the LGBTQ community. Most of all, it's about whether the progress Wisconsin has made will continue. Today, we ask ourselves if we will live up to our state motto, Forward. And today, we come together as one community to answer that question with a resounding yes. So thank you again for giving me the opportunity to join all of you today. And now it is my honor to introduce Ren Paul.
Hello, my name is Ren. I am 12 years old and recently finished 6th grade. I am non-binary and use they/them pronouns, though my pronouns will probably change in the future as I am still learning about who I am. Earlier this year, I learned that my school did not have a Gay Straight Alliance, also known as a GSA. I knew I wanted to connect with other LGBTQ+ kids, so I reached out to the administration to create a GSA. I was met with adversity, but I persisted in my request with the support of my family and some teachers. My story was told around the state, and I believe I'll create positive and lasting change at the school. As you know, June is Pride Month. It commemorates the Stonewall Riot and is a month to bring recognition to and support for LGBTQ+ people. Pride Month celebrates and recognizes all the people who have advocated for our rights and those who are doing that now. Affirming LGBTQ+ youth identities is important because, according to the Trevor Project, 78% of transgender and non-binary youth reported being discriminated against. The Trevor Project reports that 55% of LGBTQ+ youth experience major depressive symptoms. LGBTQ+ youth suicide rates are cut down by 40% from trans and non-binary youth, and by 50% if they have at least one supportive adult in their life. Accepting and supporting LGBTQ+ youth is suicide prevention. Some ways to acknowledge and affirm us are by using our preferred names and pronouns, and supporting and loving the LGBTQ+ youth in your life, especially if they don't have at-home support. Assess your own personal biases and learn about LGBTQ+ issues. Show your support by displaying your pronouns and by using LGBTQ+ symbols to show you're an ally or a safe space. Including inclusive language on documents and in discussions, and intervening when you see LGBTQ+ youth being harassed or bullied also makes a significant impact on our mental health. I am very fortunate to have supportive family and friends that love me, and it is because of them that I am able to be here today, advocating for the rights of my extended family, the LGBTQ+ community. I'd like to thank Governor Tony Evers for affirming LGBTQ+ people in Wisconsin by signing the order to fly the Pride flag over the Capitol building and other buildings in Wisconsin, and for the opportunity to speak here today. Happy Pride Month.
What a beautiful day. What great comments. And thank you, Ren, for the introduction. And thanks both to Ash and Ren for sharing the stories that they told today. So it's a great day, a beautiful day. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you as we kick off Pride Month in Wisconsin. I also want to thank Senator Baldwin, the Legislative LGBTQ Caucus, and the many members of my cabinet for joining us today, along with First Lady Kathy Evers. This is truly a reflection of a commitment from every level and across state agencies to support and protect the LGBTQ community in the state of Wisconsin. My administration recognizes that diversity makes our communities and, frankly, our state stronger. That's why my Badger Bounce Back agenda, we included equity initiatives, including a new cabinet position specifically to advance equity across the state, across state agencies, as well as health equity initiatives to ensure we are serving and reaching underserved and disproportionately impacted communities. It also included requiring gender-neutral language in statutes. Unfortunately, all were removed by the Republicans on the Joint Finance Committee last month. Every single one of them. So, in addition to celebrating the resilience and joy of the LGBTQ community, Pride also offers us an opportunity to reflect on how the state and our communities can be better allies. And my administration and folks standing up here today with me are committed to making systemic changes that will have a lasting impact on how we serve LGBTQ Wisconsinites, which ensure that every individual, every family, every kid has the opportunity and the resources to thrive. That's why today, in addition to raising the Pride flag here at the state capitol for a third year in a row, I'm also signing 2 additional executive orders to recognize the work we need to do as a state to protect, support, and celebrate all LGBTQ Wisconsinites, especially our kids. I'll be signing an executive order requiring state agencies to review the language used in external documents to reflect gender-neutral language. so that we can be more inclusive and to ensure anytime anyone is interacting with our state agencies, they are treated with respect. And I'll be signing an executive order that requires the Department of Health Services and the Department of Children and Families and the Department of Corrections to review any and all policies to prohibit the use of state and federal funds for the practice of conversions therapy on our kids. Whether it's child health services, child welfare, or juvenile justice services, I believe in doing what's best for our kids, and I believe in using science and evidence-based practices to do it. Conversion therapy does neither or either. It's banned in 20 red and blue states from Utah to Maryland, and it's widely opposed by medical and professional community for good reason. Not only is there no recognized evidence on the efficacy, but it actually does more harm than good. Research shows that conversion therapy negatively impacts our kids' mental and physical health, leads to higher risk of depression and suicide for LGBTQ youth, can affect their relationships with those around them, their education and future success, and frankly, at the end of the day, kids are kids. It's our jobs as adults to encourage them to play, learn, and grow and be themselves, whether they're in the classroom, out in the community, on the court, on the field, or on the track. And I very seldom weigh in on bills before they reach my desk, but I can tell you one thing for sure. As governor, I will veto any bill that's going to negatively impact our kids, period. In fact, these sorts of harmful bills and hateful policies are, quote unquote, solutions in search of problems that don't exist. They're based on some hypothetical stories about somebody else, someplace else, rather than the evidence right in front of us and the harm they can do to our LGBTQ kids, neighbors, friends, and loved ones. The sort of hateful and divisive rhetoric we've heard in the building behind us has no place in our state, and it certainly has no place in our policy making. LGBTQ folks live here too. They're Wisconsinites too. They pay taxes too. They want good schools, good roads, and good health care too. And we sure as heck have a long way to go in the state and country in recognizing and respecting those facts. But I know myself and the folks with me here today are committed to doing that work, to protecting, supporting, and celebrating LGBTQ Wisconsinites, especially LGBTQ people of color and our kids, and to building a Wisconsin that works for everyone. So with that, I will now sign Executive Orders 120, 121, and 122. Beautiful day in Wisconsin.
You're more important than me.
120
And way cuter.
relating to the Rainbow Pride flag. 121 relating to state agency use of gender neutral language. And 122 relating to the use of agency administered funds for services that are harmful to minors. Here we go. Now, what we're here for. The Rainbow Pride flag not only is a symbol of our state's commitment to celebrating and supporting our LGBTQ communities, but it's emblematic of the history of the community and the hard-fought battles being seen and heard, and to live fully with dignity and respect. It's also a sign of our future, the progress we have yet to make, and the more inclusive, more just state we can and will build together. That's why, in addition to raising the flag here at the state capitol today, my executive order also authorizes the flag to be flown at all of our state-owned buildings and encourages communities across our state all across our state to join us in celebrating Pride and the LGBTQ folks that contribute to our state's story every single day. This is what we've been waiting for, folks. Let's raise that rainbow flag and celebrate all the joy, resiliency, and diversity of LGBTQ Wisconsinites. Happy Pride Month, Wisconsin. Countdown. Beautiful event on a beautiful day. Thank everybody for being here, and this is a press conference, so any of the folks have questions, we'd be glad to answer them.
Governor, on the executive order, did your office know of any instances where more state funds were being used for conversion therapy, or is it more preventative?
Is more preventative. I mean, when we do take a closer look, we may find that it's sometime in the past it may have happened, but this is preventative. We want to make sure it doesn't, if it has happened, it doesn't happen again. Yes, hi. Well, of course, I'm asking them to invest more. What they invested was paltry and an insult to the kids of our state. Not only should they be meeting the requirements of the federal government, they should be actually helping our kids move forward as a state. There are adequate resources. We've said this every single day. My budget was a reasonable approach. What the Republicans have put forward is not only inadequate, but even if they meet those federal guidelines, it's an inadequate response.
Governor, there will be public hearings for bills tomorrow that would ban businesses and government agencies from requesting proof of vaccination. I know you don't like to speak specifically to whether you veto bills, but philosophically, what do you think of the idea of restricting businesses or anyone else from asking for proof of vaccination?
I think it's a reasonable request of businesses to make those requests. If you're a healthcare institution, you may want to ask those questions. Certainly, Lawrence University is already out in front on this, requiring students and therefore asking them to show proof. I don't know. I don't have an answer to your questions, but I do believe in some instances it is a reasonable request. And so, but that's my starting point. I'll take a look at the bill when it's finally put in front of me. That's too early to tell, but that is always an option that is on the table.
Governor and Senator, you can weigh in as well on federal unemployment. We're hearing that no governor is for businesses. Some who
Well, first of all, I'd like to see some proof that the people that are struggling on unemployment, if they all came back to work, that suddenly this problem solved. It is an issue that I have seen no data on, none whatsoever. In addition, we had trouble finding people to come to work before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic. So I think this is an issue around making sure that we have the best quality of life in the state of Wisconsin so that we actually will encourage people to move here. I think those are things that we need to take a look at. But I am concerned that, again, we're seeking a solution for a problem that may not exist. I mean, I just feel confident that the people that are receiving unemployment compensation with a unemployment rate now that is similar to before the pandemic need those resources to live on. I'll take a look at it.
Sure. I pretty much want to underscore what the governor just said. I heard from employers across the state looking at worker shortages. Many communities had been struggling with these issues for a while. Many even were looking towards figuring out ways at the community level of getting more people to move there in order to meet some of these challenges. Then the pandemic hit, and we're hearing pretty much the same set of arguments as our economy is reopening in the wake of almost in the wake of, it's not quite in the rearview mirror, but it's getting there. And I've heard a lot of expert insights into why this is, and I have seen very little to conclusively state that the federal pandemic supplement to the state unemployment program and the extension of time is a leading factor. And frankly, when you look at the devastation that this pandemic has caused, this was a lifeline for so many people, especially those who don't traditionally qualify for unemployment, like entrepreneurs and self-employed individuals and independent contractors. It was truly a lifeline. It will expire in September, and hopefully by that time, everyone will be able to land on their feet.
There's a bill later on today that Republicans are taking up that would restrict the enforcement of any new federal gun laws that may be yet to come, including magazine capacity restrictions. And Senator, you can weigh on this too. So there would be a restriction on the ability to enforce federal laws. Just where do you stand on that? Is that something that you've been able to begin to look at, Governor, so far?
It would be great to have our legislature come together and take a look at gun safety in total instead of these small steps backwards instead of a large step forward. As many of you may remember, we had a special session that was a gavel in, gavel out exercise on their part, and I just think that having a robust conversation about this instead of another step backwards is probably not worth our time. We need to think about, Joe Biden said it the other day, how about registering all sales of guns? What's the deal there? How is that going to impact on anybody's right to bear arms? It won't, but it'll help us. It'll help us move us in the right direction.